we want to know, Sean, what is your secret to staying creative even when you don't feel like it? Because, of course, when we're not feeling creative, here comes our client, right? And they're like, I'll take all the nail art today. And you're just like, hey there, and welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Paola of paolaponcenails.com, your source for all things premium soft gels and entrepreneurship in the nail industry. If this sounds like a niche you'd like to continue growing in, then at the end of this video, do consider subscribing to this channel and our weekly newsletter. Let's begin. Well, hey there. Today I get to share with you my interview with the very lovely Chantelle, or Shan for short. If you haven't met Chantelle, she is a UK-based nail tech and mentor and the co-founder of the Clawgasmic Nail Network, a membership site with weekly nail art tutorials and coaching for nail techs, a fantastic place for community and growth. Her Clawgasmic Instagram has over 115,000 followers, and she also hosts the Clawgasmic Nail Tech Talks podcast, which I had the wonderful opportunity to be a guest on. I'll link you to that in the description below if you want to watch after this episode. Either way, after casually browsing through her work and finding out that she has compiled over 480 nail art tutorials on her membership site, I thought it would be a great idea to bring her on and have her share with us, with you, her tips for staying creative when you're simply not feeling so. Because clearly, after 480 tutorials, she must know a thing or two about that. So without further ado, let's jump into this conversation with Shan. So welcome, Chantelle. How are
Hello.
you? You just got married, coming off of a wedding. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me as well. I'm so excited to do this with you.
Absolutely. We're having so much fun pre-recording. So now I'm glad that we get to put it on audio and everyone can come and join us to this happy party here with you and I. So you've been doing nails for almost 20 years, which is kind of peculiar to me because, as I told you in our interview, you only look 29. So break it down. So how somehow you've been doing nails for 20 years. Take us through your journey. How did you get started?
Oh, well, thank you so much. I will take that. Just turned 35. So I feel like when I was a little girl, I was just always drawn to, nails, makeup, hair. My mum was a hairdresser, so I always used to go with her and watch her have her nails done. And I remember saying to her nail tech, actually, I'm going to do nails one day. And she was like, go for it. Like, you can totally do it. And then really ironically, that salon that my mum used to have her nails done in, probably like, I must have been about 13 at the time. So I'd say like 5 years later when I was like 18, that was where I got my first job. So I did actually
No
end up like
way. Oh my gosh, I kind
yeah,
of almost like got chills over that. Like,
crazy. I remember saying to her, I'm going to be an nail tech. She was like, yeah, do it. Anyway, so yeah, I've always been drawn to it. Always, always, always. I finished school, I went to college and I did a national diploma. So over here in the UK, that a national diploma is like everything. So massage, waxing, tanning, lashes, nails, pedicures, manicures, like the whole thing. So it's 2 years you're in college for and you learn it all. So when I
really, a
finished
full 2 years?
2 years, yeah. Yeah. So I
Whoa.
started at
Now,
18, started at 16, sorry, and then finished at 18.
so let me ask you, okay, that program was part of your schooling or did you
No,
finish?
that was after. So over here, you have school till the age of 16.
Okay.
And then at 16, you leave and you go to college. So you can kind of pick whatever it is you want to do. And then
Wow.
I was there for 2 years. Yeah.
And is there an option or like to only do nails or do you have to do the whole program?
I think there are options. I'm sure they kind of encouraged us to do like a national diploma because they were just sort of saying to us, like you're still young, you're 16. If you kind of like do a whole course, then you can kind of pick which one, really wants, really kind of sets your soul alight, and then you can kind of run with that. Some people then go off to like uni and do like, so obviously in the nail beauty world, you can go and do like a business course or a marketing course or things like that. But I didn't want to go to uni. I just wanted to get going. I'm like that. I'm like a hands-on practical learner. I love
Mhm.
watching people. I love just being in it. I'm like itching to like get my hands on it. Like whatever I'm learning, I'm like, can I try now? Can I go?
Yeah,
Can I go
like,
now?
can we get over this theory part like tomorrow? Because I want to start practicing on a real nail. So you go into the salon with your or your mom's friend's salon at this point. I'm sure she's a friend, right? And that's your first job in the nail industry, and you're only doing nails, or does she have you doing something else? How do you go from there into your nail career?
Yeah, so that was a nail bar. So that was for the brand Nails Inc. So that was their nail bar. It was a franchise in like a department store. So I worked there probably for about a year and then absolutely loved it. My manager at the time, Hayley, just loved her so much. But I remember getting to a point where I thought, I feel like I should look for a beauty salon so that, I've got this diploma in massage, facials, waxing, tanning, like I've got to give it a try. So found a salon, started working. It was honestly the best salon to work in. We were like a little family. I absolutely loved it. I was there for 7 years. But I reckon probably like 8 months in, I remember saying to my manager, I just want to do nails. And she was like, really? And I was like, I talk too much for massage. I don't want to be in a room like quietly doing it.
For massage. Well, I feel like I talk too much pre getting on this interview. So, oh my gosh, what is Chantelle Unleashed, really looks like? I was like, wait, I'm so sorry. I keep talking. Just shut up, Paola. All right. That is so funny.
So I was just listening. I was soaking it all in. I was so excited to meet you. So I was just soaking it all in. Honestly, you were fine. But yeah, I remember saying to her, and I think as well, it's kind of like something that I speak about, obviously now when we're in like the coaching space and the educational space. And I always say to people, I feel like every single person has a superpower and you just have to figure out what it is. Like, what is that thing that you can do time and time again and you don't get bored? And that doesn't have to be as general as nails. Even within nails, it can be niched down. Is it extensions? Is it like a flawless gel manicure? Is it polish? Is it sculptures? Is it acrylic? Is it gel? Is it art? Is it French? You've always got a superpower. And I think I very quickly learned that nails was my home. I loved it. That's where I had the best days. When I came in and I saw my column and it was all nails, I was like, today is going to be a good day. And I think naturally what you enjoy doing, it really transfers out to your clients. So again, naturally, a lot of my repeat bookings became nail clients. So eventually I was the nail girl without intentionally being hired as the nail girl. So yeah, I was there for 7 years. In that time, met my now husband. That's the first time I've said that on a
it's on media.
We are done.
Yay.
So yeah, met him. He's amazing. I won't cheese you all out, but he's phenomenal. So yeah, met him.
We were talking obviously before this interview, and we realized that we are like each other. I don't know how the words are, but we're like each other, like across the pond, I guess. I don't know. Like her husband was in the same job field that mine was. Her baby is only, well, we call them babies, but they're a little older than babies. Is like, yeah, his birthday is like a day after my son's birthday. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. And we have very similar businesses. I mean, it was just like, oh my God.
So I met him. And then he basically, I know it's kind of a later question, but we'll go into some of this later, but had a bit of a setback in my career. Thought my career was going to go one way. It didn't go one way. Called up Jovan this night in tears. We were, this was young love. Gosh, when I was in the salon, I was still 22, 23. Called him up crying. What am I going to do? He was like, oh, it's going to be fine. Anyway, the next day, bless him, he sends me an email with my own blog. And I'll be honest, he knows this. I have said this to him. At the time, I was like, this is so sweet. But what am I going to do with a blog? This was back in like 2012. So it wasn't really a thing then. Like blogging wasn't a thing, or, there was no Instagram. There was no social media. There was nothing like that. And he was like, but you love nail art. Like just create and we'll post it up and it can be like a little portfolio. And I started doing it. Fell in love with it. So I would just post once a week. It was all nail polish at the time, different nail polish designs, da-da-da. And then this incredible lady, her name's Katie Jane Hughes. She's a makeup artist now, phenomenal. She basically dropped me an email one day, like, I've seen your blog, love your work. Do you want to come and do London fashion work with me and help me do the model's
Oh
nail?
my God.
And I was
Oh,
like, this is a scam. This
you're
can't
like,
be real. People,
credentials, please.
yeah, who does that? Okay. So anyway, fast forward to a couple of weeks later, it wasn't a scam. She's an absolute incredible, just human, the most lovely person. Next thing I know, I'm in her house. She's giving me bags and bags of nail varnish, and she's saying to me, cool, let's set it up. You're going to be on my team. Let's do this. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Jovan, this is amazing. I can't believe this is happening. So went into the salon where I worked, and I get it. They couldn't give me the time off. So they said to me, we can't let you go to fashion week. Like, we can't give you the time off. Unpaid leave isn't a thing that we offer, and we need you in the salon. So you can't go. So again, another sad phone call to Jovan, like, oh my gosh, I really want to do London Fashion Week. And he was like, look, we haven't got a house or anything like that we need to, we didn't have any serious real responsibilities at the time. I was still living at home. He was still living at home, very fortunate enough for that. He was like, how would you get into this otherwise? And I was like, so true. I wouldn't even know who to contact to say, can I come to London Fashion Week? He was like, just do it. So I quit my job.
Oh my gosh. I literally, because we didn't talk about this because we do want to keep some element of surprise during this interview, but like, I'm like getting like all the bumps and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a beautiful story. Go ahead.
It's so, honestly, when I look back, I think, oh my God. So yeah, I was like, cool, I'm going to quit. So handed my notice in. That was like really emotional because again, they were amazing. I have nothing but love for every single person that I work with there. And I genuinely would have stayed forever. And even now, even though that was such a tricky choice and so sad, that was the silver lining because I loved it so much. I don't know if I ever would have pushed myself to work for myself if they didn't say no, because I loved it. Yeah. So anyway, left, did London Fashion Week, loved it. Oh, amazing. Like, so buzzy, so full on, so incredible. It's 5 days. The 5 days is done. Shan doesn't have a job. What's she going to do? She now has no money, even though she doesn't have, major responsibilities. I still had a car to pay for, obviously, things that I needed to pay for, my phone. So I was like, okay, what are we going to do? And then I was like, Jovan said to me, now's probably the best time to go for it. Like, you've got nothing to lose at this point. Like, if you go and try to start work up on your own and it doesn't work out, you've already not got a job.
At this point, like, either Jovan is a really bad influence or he's like the right person in your team, right? We know how the story ends now.
We were married, we have a baby, it's all good.
But at this point, I mean, your mom, your best friend is like, ever since you've been Jovan, you've been a little bit unstable.
Yeah. People were like, where are you going to get this money from then for a route? Like, what are you going to do? Like, because I didn't have this wasn't my plan, right? This is another thing I coach people for. Sometimes I think you don't have to have everything set in stone perfect. Sometimes you just have to get moving and work, get to work. Anyway, so I was like, okay, cool. Found a room to rent. We actually had a holiday booked already and paid for from months before to Jamaica, a big family holiday. So we were going away there. And then while we were away, we were like, well, we'll go back and we'll look for like spaces to rent and all this kind of stuff. And the people out there truly inspired me. Jovan's got family out there. And just seeing how whatever it is they do and whatever it is they're passionate about, they do it. Like, if they can cook, they have these incredible little like buildings that they've built at the end of their garden where they cook and they sell food. If they have a car and they drive and they enjoy driving, they're a taxi driver and they don't think twice. They don't stand in their own way. They don't let self-doubt kind of get them. They just go for it. And I was like, this is so inspiring. I mean, I'm going to do it. So we came home, we found a space, set up the space, and that was me then for 7 years. So built that business up from no clients to fully booked. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Is that Clawgasmic at that point, or did it have a different name?
No, that salon, actually, ironically, this is another funny little story. So I'm like, I like to say 5'2", but I think it's a lie, guys. I think it's a lie. I think when my hair's on my head, I may be 5'2", but when my hair's like this, I'm probably like just pushing 5 foot. So Jovan's dad is 6'6". He's
Oh,
really tall. So when I first met him, he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're just a little bit. You're like a little bit.
you're just a
You're like
little
a little
bit.
bit." And my salon was called Little Bits because when we were starting it up, Jovan was like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to do a little bit of nails, a little bit of waxing, a little bit of lashes, little bits of this, little bits of
Oh,
that." So it was called Little Bit after my nickname from Jovan's
I'm
dad.
not kidding you. Like my eyes are watering just because I'm like, this is so funny. Like, okay. Like, and like my cheeks are like, because trying not to like crack up here. But yeah, just go on. This is so funny. So amazing. Go ahead.
So that was the salon, was there for 7 years. And then I fell pregnant with my gorgeous little boy, like we just said. Like they're literally a year and a day apart. That's crazy. So yeah, then obviously knew that I was going to have Kingsley, was going to go on maternity, told all my clients I'm going to go on maternity. I'll be back. It probably won't be in the capacity that I'm doing now, because at the time I was working like sometimes 10-hour days and all this kind of stuff. So I knew I wanted to cut back personally, but that was the plan. Went on maternity, and then 6 months after, so he was 6 months old, that's when 2020 hit. And then 3 months after that, we went into lockdown for the next year and a half. I was so ready to see people again and go back to work. Like my maternity was coming up. I was like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to do clients. I'm going to do some master classes. I really wanted to do some in-person master classes. So had a venue booked, had clients booked onto that. Really excited. Then, like I said, obviously the government over here was like, no, honey, you got to stay in your house. So we're like, okay.
This was a sign like, Shan, enjoy the baby. Stop it. Stop
Yeah.
it. I like how you were like, no one had to tell me twice. So just,
Yeah.
what did you say it yourself? Because you said it's so funny.
Someone's telling me to just stay at home and sniff and squeeze my tiny little baby, and you've not got to tell me twice. I'm going to do just that. So that's what I did for another couple of months. And then I was like, right, no, I just miss that creative side. I miss it. I think when you are entrepreneurial and when you do something that you love, once you've kind of, I don't want to say find your feet with motherhood, because I feel like you're forever finding your feet. That's how I feel. I don't feel like I've ever been like, got it.
Yeah.
I think for me, I just kind of felt like I had a bit more time for me again, like kind of like 9 months, 10 months in. I was like, actually, my spare time doesn't just feel like I want to sleep. I feel like I can maybe create in that time now.
Yes.
I can create and have fun. So I was like, right, let's start doing some Instagram lives. And then, like I said to you, I started doing these lives and interacting with different nail techs and teaching nail art and teaching some of the things that I'd learned over the last however many years. And then I came downstairs one day and Jovan was like, so where's the content? And I was like, and he was like, what did you do? And I was like, what do you mean? What did I do? I just pressed end and now I'm here. And he was like, but the content's gone. And I was like, yeah, well, where else is it going to go? And he was like, we should create a membership. We could create a monthly membership. We can create an app that links to the membership. We can do this, we can do that. And I was like, this is a great idea. And so we started the Clawgasmic Nail Network. And then thank goodness, it just took off. It was really our silver lining. And we always said we wanted to work together. So yeah, just pinched myself that is.
So it went from, was it Little Bits? The Little Bits, like that was the name of your salon. Little Bits. Yeah. So again, you tell your clients in 9 months, I'm coming back, or because of the baby, right? Like where did you take off with your baby? Like first trimester, second trimester?
Oh, I worked right up to the end. So Kingsley was born at the end of August, but he wasn't due till mid-September. And I worked up to like probably a week and a half before he was born, because he was like 3 weeks early.
Okay.
So I was just working because I loved it and I felt fine. So
were you doing pedicures or just?
No, I stopped pedicures as soon as I started to show. I don't know. I just felt really uncomfortable about like, I felt like I was pushing him. I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that anymore.
Totally get it. So
yeah.
at this point also in you're in the salon right before you leave, or you have your baby, and before you clock out officially from little bits. Oh
Little
my gosh,
bits,
it's
yeah.
like I kissed him, like, is that really the name? You also had you were specialized already, right? Because one of the things that we talk about in this channel is like narrowing it down. And you were talking about that earlier, how you went from massage and hair and all of this. And I always joke, when I started my nail journey, for me, it felt like if I paid for it, I have to offer it. So my education
Mm.
came with silk wrap extensions and regular manicures and regular pedicures. So I have to do all of that, obviously, like, because I pay for it, and like, I don't want to leave anyone out. But when you were in little bits, um,
Yeah.
you had it pretty narrowed down, right? Like what you wanted to do. What was your specialty in your salon?
Yeah, and I think as well, I should have said this. So when I started my salon, work for myself, so from 2013, we started Clawgasmic along the side then, but we didn't know what it was going to be at that point. So when I had my salon, me and Jovan started Clawgasmic because I really craved a positive place on the internet. So if anyone ever wanted to scroll all the way down, there's thousands of posts now. It'll probably take you ages by the time it had loaded up. But at the beginning, Clawgasmic was just a positive space. So I would post nail quotes. I would make up little nail quotes about fixing each other's crowns, and blowing out someone else's candle doesn't make yours shine brighter, and just things like that. And then I would share other nail techs' work that I loved and just tag them and say, I love this. And it was just shouting out techs, posting some of my work, some of my clients' work, but it was just kind of there,
Yes.
like bubbling. It didn't have a purpose. We didn't start it with the intention of the network, or the intention of the podcast wasn't even a thing then. It was just purely a place where I would share some positivity and like just bits about nails, just to help people and lift each other up, really.
That's actually like a strategy, a tip for nail tags or digital creators, in the making. It's like start before you're ready. And at that point, you just needed this additional creative outlet. 2013, Instagram is starting to boom. You're just like, all right, well, I'm going to start Clawgasmic, and this is what we're going to do. And it's just this place for community, which is so interesting because we know that in Instagram, things move so fast. So the thought of community, people are joining in because they're like, you know what? We like the positive vibe in this channel, essentially, right? Your Instagram. So that's great. So you're running little bits. You've got this blog gift, right? But you are contributing to it, correct? Like with every so often you're posting on the blog.
Yeah, we don't have a blog at the moment, but at the time I was also interviewing techs via the blog. So it was obviously just written out interviews. So like the incredible Priscilla from Home of Diva, she was on there. I would like message her and had her on the blog, and I'd like share lots of her images on our account, and just incredible techs like that. But again, it wasn't with anything in mind other than, oh, I want to talk to that person. I think they're really cool. And I want to post them. I want to talk about them. But that was literally it.
And so when 2020 comes around, you've got Clawgasmic. At this point, it's grown by how much?
I'd say like more than 50,000.
Okay, that's a good
But it
number
boomed more in lockdown
for
and
sure.
over.
Especially with everything that you were posting, people wanted that, like, all right, I need this right now.
Yeah.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Exactly. So that was kind of it. And then obviously it was the silver lining, because it was in that time that it kind of found its direction. Then we were like, oh, okay, this could actually become more of an educational space, and we can really create and share. And then obviously with Jovan's brains, make it into a membership and get it out.
All of that. You have created over 450 nail art tutorials on Clawgasmic, which is now your membership site. And it's really the brand, like you said, to everything else that you've created. you've got a podcast, you have that Instagram, I think you also have a Facebook group, and you also have a paid membership. So you've created over 450 tutorials on this paid membership. And so clearly you don't lack inspiration, right? But of course, I'm sure you do. And right. And so I definitely figured that you had something figured out, something nailed down. And that was how to grab inspiration to create. And you deliver a tutorial or 2 tutorials, correct, per week on the Clawgasmic membership site. So we want to know, Sean, what is your secret to staying creative even when you don't feel like it? Because of course, when we're not feeling creative, here comes our client, right? And they're like, I'll take all the nail art today. And you're just like, no, not today, but okay. So please share with us those tips that you would like to share and that keep you inspired to create on a weekly schedule.
I think the first thing I would say is grace. Give yourself grace and know that no one on the planet, or I'm yet to find someone who is creative all the time, 24/7. We are human. You have times where you might have been up in the night with your little ones, and that's going to make you feel a little bit flat the next day. Or, us as women, going through our cycles, different times, or even just them times when you're just in a funk and nothing is coming. It is 100% normal. Give yourself some grace and just know that it will come back. Like, I always find that when a new season hits, I feel like incredibly creative. And then it's like, it's coming to the end of a season, there's a bit of a lull there as well. So yeah, just give yourself grace. No, it's definitely going to come back round. But like I said to you, for me personally, and this sounds really counterproductive, but trust me, it works. Stop looking. When I feel really not creative, I don't go on Instagram. I take a break off Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anything nail related. I just stop looking at it, and I will go for a walk, and I might see the colors on, I don't know, somebody's coat, or I'll look into the shops and I'll see what colors are trending, what colors are in, what patterns are in. I'll take pictures. I literally probably look a bit strange going in shops, like just taking pictures of like clothes and things that I see around. And that is the best place for me to get my inspiration. Or I'll go on my favorite clothing sites, click the new in, and I'll check out like, what's in, what patterns, what shades, what colors.
That is brilliant. So for the people in the back, in case anyone didn't hear it, so one of the things here in her tip number 2, when she doesn't feel inspired, is she'll go to her favorite clothing stores online or retailers, whatever that might be, and click on what's new. And then you can see, because they've already got a team that did their homework, right? They're working with designers, they're putting things together. They already sat down and, saw what went together and what didn't. And so you can kind of piggyback off of that, and you can definitely credit them. I mean, you can also take inspiration from it and make it your own. Okay. But when you share that tip right there was like money. Take that one, you guys, write it down. If you're not feeling creative, go to your favorite retailer, see what's new, and grab inspiration from that. I thought that was like, wow.
And even like textures, textures, then you can add like acrylic to get like some textured stuff, or you've seen lots of sequins. Okay, let's get the glitter out, or get the chrome in there. I just find that really inspiring. So that's kind of my biggest thing when I'm in like a real funk, is just step away from everything nail. Stop rooting through your nail colors, stop scrolling and searching hashtags, and just get out.
I once heard one of like Japan's top nail artists. She was on an interview and she said something similar. And she was asked, like, how do you stay creative? Because she's very innovative. If you guys know her from the channel, her name is Ageha. I know a lot of you are familiar with her. But I remember she said in this interview, like, when I want to get creative, she said, I won't go and look at other like nail tech work. She's like, I will go to something non-nail tech related so that I can keep my creative integrity kind of like, and say, to some degree, right? Like I came up with this design. Like I, took it as inspiration and I remixed it and I made this, or that one thing helped me make this, So it's just amazing how as a nail artist, you can definitely grab inspiration from other parts. Doesn't have to be nail related. And I think it also keeps us all like mentally healthy, right? We're not constantly playing the like comparison game of like, those look really good, but I probably can't do that. Or of course, those are amazing because she did them, right? Or be patient, give yourself grace, like just it's all right. We're not supposed to be creative 24/7. It comes and goes. And the other thing was to just go and look at something else not nail related, step away, look at those places where you shop and see what have they come up. They've paid lots of money to come up with like trends and combinations and patterns and what's already on the runway, and it's going to be working like mainstream. So that's fantastic.
I always think like you can learn so much from the world as it is as well. Like I always say, I'm a little bit of an undercover hippie, I think. But like flowers don't bloom all year round, and there's a reason for that. Do you know what I mean? So why do we
see? This is why you came up with Clawgasmic and not me, because I couldn't have said that to you guys. See? And that's all right, because as we talked earlier, Shan and I, we said like we all have like our strengths and our weaknesses. And, she was saying like you all have, something that you're really good at. She was calling that like your superpower. Maybe your thing is not gel extensions. Maybe it's natural nails, or your thing is not nail art, raising both of my hands over here. But I could say that, right? And I can just say, my thing is not nail art. My thing is not nail art. Yet I do pose a little bit of nail art. And so I really should be saying, my thing is minimalistic nail art, because I'm not going to spend too much time on these things. Or even my clients, they are also, when I was in the salon, they were like minimalist. So I think that was great that you share that bit of encouragement, and that way we can pass it on to our subscribers now that just have a little grace. It's going to be okay. Step away. Thank you for letting us know how Clawgasmic came about. Again, Clawgasmic is your brand. And within this brand, tell us all the different things that you do or where our community can find you.
www.clawgasmic.com is our online membership. So we actually have over 480 tutorials on there now as of recently. That is where we release 2 new tutorials every single week. The goal behind it is to give you inspiration year out for in salon. So salon friendly designs that you can create on your clients year in, year out, learn something new. And everything I've learned over the last 18 years, I just pour into that platform. So we release 2 new tutorials every single weekend, ranging from loads of nail art bits to how to get a nice smooth builder gel application, prep, infills, that kind of stuff. And within the membership as well, there's a weekly coaching call with me. So that's every Wednesday at 8:30. And any questions that people have, if they've had a tough week, if they've had a tough client, if they're struggling with a nail art look, if they want help on branding or marketing, I'm literally there to answer any question. We call it the safe space because we don't want any question to feel like a silly question, and I'm here to answer whatever it is. So that is all part of the membership. Then we have our podcast, which is called the Clawgasmic Nail Tech Talks, which I love. So super excited to have yourself on there soon. And this is probably a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like getting out of my comfort zone and being on the other side. So just a bit of caution to you and our audience. It's like, I'm a little chatty, so I'm going to try to keep it concise. But either way,
always good to have chatty people on the podcast. So this is good. If you're chatty, this is perfect. People want a nice, juicy podcast. So yeah, we currently have 80 episodes on the podcast, so totally bingeable. And it is just, again, a nice positive pick me up. We release new episodes every single Monday. I interview different techs about how they started, why they started, what made them want to, get into the stage of the career that they are now, advice for other nail techs, advice for those days when you're in a bit of a funk, advice you wish you knew at the beginning, things you'd go back and tell your younger self, favorite products, favorite things like that. So that is what the podcast's all about. And then also there's some more kind of like mindset ones, I would say, from me. So there's There's one about using social media in a positive way, because we all know that social media is part of life and it's amazing. It can help you build and grow your business, but with algorithms and likes and follows and trying to stay creative and everything, it can be a whirlwind. So
Where can they get your podcast? Do they go to clawgasmic.com.net?
yeah, if you just search Clawgasmic Nail Tech Talks, that is on all the major podcast platforms. Or you can just literally click the link in my bio on Instagram, and there's a little tab
Very
there for
good.
it.
And I will go ahead and link those stuff also down in the description box of this video, so our audience can definitely go and take a look. Well, thank you again, Sean, and I look forward to being on the hot seat with you very soon. Take it easy on me. No, I'm kidding.
It'll be good.
So thank you again, Sean, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much for having me.
Isn't she just a treat? I'll link you to Chan's resources like her membership site info, podcast, and a little freebie she left for you all linked down below. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.